Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Victoria and welcome back to another YouTube video. Now you may be thinking that I'm not in a flight and you're perfectly right, but I want to show you all something which I think can be an infinite flight very soon. Now also if you're new here, please feel free to like and subscribe, and all the support you all show me at the moment is just so much and it means a lot to me. So we're just going to try and take off very quickly, if it works, and we should be able now. So what I want to show you is the aircraft carrier, because with the upcoming F-18 rework in Infinite Flight, I think we're apologies. I think we're very likely to be seeing the aircraft carrier enter Infinite Flight. So there it is down there. And the reason I think we'll be seeing it is because, for a start, the Infinite Flight team, they're American based. Okay, it's an American based thing, and there are lots of American aircraft carriers. So for me, it would be like, for me, I'd want a British aircraft carrier in Infinite Flight. So I think the developers, it was in some of their interest to want an American aircraft carrier. And I also think with the F-18 rework, which is coming very soon to Infinite Flight, so we just saw it down there, I think it's quite likely that we can see an aircraft carrier enter an Infinite Flight. Now, for an aircraft carrier to enter Infinite Flight, I think we'd need a few things to change. So the water, they'd have to change it. So whether they get a lake or like one of the regions within Infinite Flight and they make it accessible towards aircraft carriers, so whether they do that, they could do that, I mean, and that would make it possible for an aircraft carrier to be in Infinite Flight. So is it the Michigan Lake, I think, or the big lake by Chicago, I believe? They could potentially plonk in an aircraft carrier in there, you know, and make it accessible. Now, of course, we do not actually know whether they're going to add an aircraft carrier, but personally, I think we can see an aircraft carrier coming into Infinite Flight in the upcoming update. Now, of course, this is just a rumour. Nothing is confirmed as of yet, so we do not actually know if they are going to be adding an aircraft carrier to your beloved mobile flight simulator. But I thought I'd just show you what it looks like. So this is F-18 carrier landings, which is pretty much based off of the F-18 rework coming up into Infinite Flight in the upcoming update, hopefully. And I just personally think it's very likely and something we can see in the new update, because of course when you do add fighter jets to the level of detail that Infinite Flight are going to be adding, I can see it happening, and I can see the developers doing it as like a little sneaky thing, because like in most updates they add big updates, they add something else quite cool, and I think an aircraft carrier is something we can see. So I've not seen in any of the rework photos anything, you know, suggesting that we're going to be getting the rework. So even though there is nothing suggesting an aircraft carrier, I think it's something they might have held under the blue for us for a little while, and I can almost, like, I can just see it coming to Infinite Flight. If you do think there is a chance of one, down below let me know. But like I said, I think a lot would have to be changed to the simulator itself. So I think the water would have to be different, and I think, like, because like if they want it moving, but I can also see them adding like a stationary aircraft carrier perhaps. So you never know really. You can never really tell. So we'll go have a look in a second. So that's not what you're going to do, and that won't happen in Infinite Flight, obviously. But if we just scroll along very quickly as I show you everything in my iPad, obviously, if we just go have a very brief look at where we could see an aircraft carrier potentially in Infinite Flight in the upcoming update. But I honestly do think it is a real possibility that we can have an aircraft carrier in Infinite Flight. So when we look on the maps, if it lets me go to them, what I was on about is this patch of water up here. Perhaps they could make that accessible to us, or even just bits of the coastal region. Now I know Infinite Flight like to make it very neat and safe and like neat and just looks good. But I think there are lots of lakes worldwide where we can see aircraft carriers. Now I know there's quite a few in the United States. Not that I can see any right now, unfortunately. Are there any big lakes just lying about? But I do think we can see an aircraft carrier in Infinite Flight in the upcoming update. Now, of course, they haven't actually shown us anything where we can see a potential lake in Infinite Flight. But I think we can see it coming, because I've just shown you there in the one of the other flight simulator or flight games. It was F-18 carrier landings. You have just seen what the aircraft carrier looks like. So we just go back to its takeoff, and you know it's not needed awful too much amount of detail here, this carrier. It moves in the water. Again, you don't know whether the infant flight one would do that, but I do think we can potentially see it. You know, it's not something that I would chalk off red. Like when I've spoken about it to people previously before the F-18 rework, I'd be like, nah, that's never going to happen. But then, you know, when we've seen it coming up as well in like the reworks, and they've really hyped this up, so I do think we can potentially be seeing an aircraft carrier. So, you know, I think that would also take the flight simulator to a new level, allowing carrier landings for the fighter jets. So, Infant Flight are always about making it a better simulator, and that's why I do think we can see an F-18 and a carrier in the next update, which has the F-18 fighter jet. So, if you did like it, let me know down below. If you do think I'm onto something, let me know, and if you think I'm wrong, also let me know. But other than that, if you did enjoy this YouTube video, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Good night.
Find your way.